Hey everyone, it's Ugo. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel once again. So today we're back with another video. And listen, September is right around the corner. Just blink and it's about to be September. So I got to get the girls ready. I got to make sure that we are ready, mind, body, spirit, all of that, okay? So today I'm coming at you with another nursing video. And in this video, I figured why not show you guys what I take to my clinicals. I do have clinical for this semester twice a week. We are going to be on site at the hospital regardless of all little Miss Rona got going on. We're going to be on site. We're going to be in the hospital and we're going to be taking care of patients, okay? So you make sure you have to come prepared to every single clinical. So I'm going to take you guys inside my clinical bag, which is really just my book bag. It's nothing special. But I'm going to show you guys what I bring to every clinical. These are my clinical must-haves. So stay tuned. So when you're going to clinical, I know at first I was really nervous. I was so scared, and sometimes you may think you just need to bring everything, but honestly, don't stress. Like, you know how I am. Y'all know I'm trying to make sure we keeping everything simple. So I'm going to show you only the necessities. I mean, feel free to bring anything else that you want, but this is what I take to every clinical, and I haven't failed clinical yet, so I guess you guys can listen to me. So I got everything here. First thing I got is obviously my book bag. This is a normal, regular book bag. Got it from Target. Ain't nothing stand out about it. But I do also carry a lunch bag because I have these 6-hour clinicals because I take clinicals after work. So I'm there from about 5 to I want to say maybe 11:30, I think. So I do bring lunch and snacks and all of those things. So those are just a given. And if you're like me, you get hungry every 38 minutes. So you have to make sure that you have some kind of snack. So I definitely bring that. I pack that aside. But I'm going to get into the more important things right now. Okay guys, the first things first, this is a stethoscope case. So this is really cute. I got it off of Amazon. I'm definitely going to be letting you guys know where I got that. So check the description box, okay? So this is my stethoscope case. It does open like this. It has a little side pocket if I want to put any pens, highlighters, markers, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. I can put it in this side right here. And here is my stethoscope. This is the Littman Quality 3M. I don't know the exact name. This is just the one that we have to buy for our clinical courses. So this is it. It was probably about, I think, 14 or 15 bucks. It's really cheap and it's very sturdy, as you can see. So I love this thing, honestly. I did not have one last semester, but I really had to make sure that I went out to go and get one because usually I was just throwing my stethoscope in my bag. Now, stethoscopes are, I'm not gonna say they're super expensive, but it's a pretty penny. So you don't wanna just throw your stethoscope in your book bag and keep it moving because you don't want it to break, you don't want it to get damaged. So getting a case, I think, is definitely a big necessity when you're going into clinical. All right, guys, the next thing that I have is my blood pressure cuff. So I also got this on Amazon. I'm gonna be letting you guys know, again, everything that I got, I'm gonna put it in the description box. I'm gonna try and find links. If I can't, I'm just gonna put the name. But this is my blood pressure cuff. Old Faithful over here, because I've had it literally for probably fundamentals. I think I bought this. I was overexcited, clearly. So this is what it looks like. This is just a standard blood pressure cuff, nothing special. I'm not gonna, that's a lot of noise. I'm not gonna do all of that. But this is what it looks like. Everything comes attached now. I mainly more so use this because in our first clinical, we had to go to the nursing home before we went to the hospital. So I mainly use this in the nursing home. At the hospital, they do have, you know, the machines. They also have blood pressure cuffs, so I really don't use this as often. Just a quick tip I do want to give you guys: if you are going to use your own blood pressure cuff on patients, please make sure you are being clean. Make sure you are wiping it down. You don't want to use this blood pressure cuff on one patient and use it on another patient without cleaning it. Come on, man. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You trying to kill your patients? Is that what you're trying to do? But just make sure you're being clean about it. That's why I try to mainly use the machine or the blood pressure cuffs that we have at the hospital. So that's that on this. So I am going to state the obvious. For clinicals, you are going to need something to write with. Now, I know when we first started clinical, they gave us a list of all the supplies that we would need. They did mention to us that you would need a pen light. You're going to need the scissors. I forgot the actual name of it, but you know what I'm talking about. They're gonna tell you. I never use those. That's probably why I forgot the name, because there's never been a time where I needed to use those. But they say you're gonna need those. I do have my pen light here. Again, got it from Amazon. It works out just fine. But funny enough, shout out to all Nigerians, because when we go to Nigerian parties, they give us party favors and all of those things. I was able to literally find a pen light in my house. So it's a pen, as you can see here, and then it has a flashlight on this end. And I'm not gonna flash it directly into the camera, but it does have a flashlight on this end. And honestly, this has been my clinical pen since my first clinical. I really haven't had a need to use this, but that's only because I have this. You will need a pen light. I'm not saying you won't need the scissors, but you're probably not going to be using those scissors, but you definitely will need a pen light. I do like this one because it does have measurements on it. I got it from Amazon, and it's from the White Coat Company. So again, I'm going to be linking it below, but make sure you do have a pen light of some fashion. It could be a free one that you find in your kitchen from a party from 2015. Or you could just get it on Amazon, as long as you have it, okay? Next up, you're definitely gonna need your ID. I'm not gonna be showing you guys my actual ID because some of y'all may be creepy. I don't know what y'all intentions are. You know, y'all all here to support me, and that's cute and that's cool and I love it, but I'm not gonna be putting out my actual program. But make sure you have your ID on you, because they will not let you get inside and do anything on the clinical floor. I know for my program, you have to make sure you have it, because if you don't, they're gonna tell you go back and get it, and then once you go back and get it, you're late. So honestly, just what I do is I just keep this in my book bag at all times. Even when I'm not in school, this is always in my book bag, for the simple fact that I don't ever want to misplace it, because I don't have time to be late to clinical. I'm not making it up, and I refuse to fail, because we all know once you fail clinical, you're not moving on to the next nursing course. So just make it easier on yourself. Just keep it in one place. Keep it in your clinical bag or in your book bag, somewhere that you can easily grab it and just go. Side note, you also want to make sure that your ID does have your respirator permit attached to it. I just clip mine on just to make sure I never forget it. You will be fitted for the mask, so just make sure you have it. Honestly, thank God I haven't used it yet, but you know, it's just good to have everything in one place, as I said, because we don't have no time for no slip ups. Honestly, I'm such a forgetful person. I'll forget where I put something. So again, clip everything together and make sure it's just on your ID and just sitting and waiting for you to put it on once you walk into the hospital. All right, so the next thing that I have for you guys, I do suggest that you have some type of paper to write on. Now, I have a notebook. All of last semester I had a notebook. My first clinical I had a notebook. Just make sure you have something to just quickly write down notes on your patient. You won't actually be able to print out any information from their charts, obviously, duh, because HIPAA. But I would say you get a notebook or one of those foldable clipboards. I'll also link that down below. I got this from Amazon. I think it was $9 or so, but it's just a standard journal size notebook. And it does have paper inside. So I like this because it's easy to carry around, and I can just easily just slide it in my pocket or just hold it with me. If I'm trying to, write down some information about my patient, I write that down. Obviously, you don't want to write their name or any identifiable factors, but you just write down the most important things so that when it's time to present in post-clinical or pre-clinical, whatever you guys call it, you have all of that information accessible. Because if you don't, when it's time to present, your professor is asking you about your patient and you don't have all of the Carfax, honey, where you going? You're
not passing. I'm sorry to say it, but you're not passing.
So make sure you have some type of notebook. I do like those foldable clipboards. I think that they're very cute, but at the same time, I just didn't have the time to keep refilling it with paper, so I did opt for a notebook. But as whatever works for you, girl. You know how I am. As I'm just trying to make sure you guys are all prepared. I'm just letting you know all the options. You can get a notebook, you can get a journal, you could, I don't know what other options you do have, but we're gonna move on to the next thing that you need, okay? So obviously you're going to need your uniform. I don't have mine with me because I don't think that it's something that I needed to show on camera. We do have to wear maroon scrubs. We have our white tops. I like to make sure I have a long sleeve shirt underneath my scrub top because it's always cold in the hospital. Or maybe it's just me, me and my little blood iron. But anyways, I'm always cold, so I make sure I have a long sleeve shirt. I do have my scrub pants. I get my scrub pants from Amazon. Honestly, I think I got everything that I needed for clinical from Amazon because I'm cheap. We all know this. So I try to make sure I get it for less. Again, where I get everything is going to be listed down below. But before I do move on to this next item, have you subscribed yet? Because I hope we didn't get this far in the video and you just felt the need not to subscribe, because what are you waiting for? Look, I don't have my watch on today. It's fine. It's cool. But I'm going to still give you time. You done? Okay. Now that you're finished, make sure you click the like button and comment. Drop down, some of the things that you put in your clinical bag down below, because this is a community. We're just trying to, we got to make sure our ecosystem is right, okay? Anyways, so let's move on to the next thing that we got in our clinical bag. All right, so it's not mainly in my clinical bag. This is just my the sneakers that I wear when I am at the hospital. We have to wear white shoes. I don't like those big clunky nursing shoes. Not nursing shoes. I don't know what they're called. Clogs? I don't know what they're called, but you know what I'm talking about. You see nurses wear it all the time. I hear that they're comfortable, but first things first, those things are mad expensive and I don't have time for that. There will never be a time where I'm spending $100 and something just to get some clogs. No, thank you, ma'am. So again, I went on Amazon and I just found some sneakers, normal sneakers. I think these were like $20. I do like these because my last sneakers for my clinical last semester, it was mainly cloth, and when it would rain or if I stepped in any mud, it would just stain it. So they're really stained right now and they're really disgusting and ugly. So I did get some new ones. These are not cloth, so I like these a lot. And they're really light. And honestly, I did the test. I did the, run around real quick, make sure, get the creases in. You gotta make sure, just in case you got a cold or something, you just gotta make, you gotta make sure your sneakers work. They're comfortable, they're light, they're airy, because you're gonna be on your toes for either 6 or 12 hours, and boo, it's not fun. It's not the time to be doing fashion show. It's not the time to make sure you have the flyest kicks. If you wanna get Huaraches or Air Force Ones or Jordan ones, or I don't know what the sneakers are, don't be wearing that to clinical. Listen, get you some $20 shoes and you will be fine, okay? Just make sure that they're comfortable. And also, I do have this little like baggie here. Just a quick tip, when I get out of the hospital, when I'm changing my shoes or whatever, I don't bring these shoes in the house. So it's very good to have like some kind of bag like this, so you can easily just slide the shoes back into the bag and you're not carrying all those germs and icky, nasty stuff into your house. So you can either just leave it at the door, it's up to you, or you could just take it off like I do, put it in the bag and just leave it in the car. Like it whatever works for you. Make sure you get some good, cheap, but make sure it's, I'm not gonna say cheap, inexpensive, but semi-decent quality, because you're gonna be using this probably you will be using it every week. I'm not sure how long you choose to use it for. I'm gonna be using these for all my clinicals because it's just that good. But just make sure you got some good sneakers. And also make sure that you are following the dress code. I know for my clinical, they told us we have to have white sneakers. For reasons I can't understand, because who's looking at my feet anyway? They was trying to be OD with it. They're talking about make sure you have white sneakers and white socks. And I said, girl, who is looking at my ankles to see my socks? But just with the sneakers, make sure you're definitely following dress code, because they will literally send you home for anything. And that's also something that I do want to point out with hair. Make sure your hair is always tied up. Obviously, if you do have braids, dreads, twists, whatever it is, make sure it's tied up. If you're having your natural hair, keep it tied. But you want to make sure that you're not wearing a scarf of any kind. I know sometimes I do have my lazy days, and this was a learning experience for me, because when I got to clinical last semester, I had a lazy day and I didn't feel like doing my hair. So I did one of those, cute little bun styles with a scarf. No. My professor almost sent me home, child. I had to cry. I had to beg and plead. She let me rock that one time, but I'm just letting you guys know this because this is something that I didn't know. And maybe it does vary from program to program or even professor to professor, because I know in my first clinical, I was able to wear that. But my second one, Shorty said no. So just to be on the safe side, make sure your hair is always neat. Make sure it's tied up and away, but just make sure it is not under a hat, a scarf, a do-rag or anything like that, because you will get sent home, okay? We don't got time for that. Again, we already paid for it. There's no way I could be sitting at home during clinical hours and I paid like $9,000 for these clinical hours and I'm just sitting at home because I decided not to do my hair. Are you mental? Are you mental? Like, something is not right if that's what you're choosing to do. Learn from my mistakes. Don't do it. Depending on what time you do decide to take your clinicals, you're gonna have some kind of downtime. I do take night clinicals. So for me, the floor isn't as busy after maybe about 9 o'clock or so. 8:30, 9 o'clock, I do usually have a couple minutes while my classmates are, I don't know, wrapping up their patients. I do usually have a couple minutes to just sit and just, I'm not gonna say chill, but I do have some free time. So in that free time, in the spirit of being the most productive that we can be, I like to bring my notes. Now I bring the last 3 chapters that I am studying. I bring that to clinical with me, and that's only just so that I have something to do in that downtime, because I don't want to just be on my phone all the time. It doesn't look good to your classmates or your professor, and 2, you're just wasting your time. Remember, we still have other things to do outside of clinical. Clinical is just a portion of nursing school, so we still have exams to study for, we still have projects, we still have all those things. So it's better to just bring that with you and just study that in your downtime, rather than just sitting and lounging around and waiting for clinical to end, because we just got to make the most of every moment, honestly. There's no real because. Come on, it's common sense, girl. Okay, so I don't have my book actually with me, but I will suggest that you do hop on Amazon and order a care plan book or the drug book. I'm not exactly sure of the name of mine, but I am gonna put it on the screen for you guys. I'm not gonna leave you hanging. But those things honestly save so much time, because in clinical is just so much paperwork. I know for ours, we had like 12 pages of paperwork to turn in for each patient. So I was just like, oh my God, this is so much. But a big part of that paperwork is your care plan. So if you can get one of those little care plan books and bring it to clinical with you, it makes things a lot easier. I'm not saying copy it word from word and just not put in any type of consideration, or do not tailor it to your patient. You definitely have to tailor it to your patient, obviously. Don't put things that are irrelevant just because it was in the book. But it's good to have that book because it does it carves off some time that you can use to do the rest of your paperwork. It's a major key, and I really, that's one thing I want to make sure that everyone does get. Obviously, get everything else too, but make sure you always have that, because I know for my first clinical, I didn't have it, but thank God my clinical partner did, and I was able to use hers. But since then, that thing goes everywhere well, not everywhere. That thing is always in my clinical bag. And lastly, I do just want to say, make sure you have a folder. Now, I did mention that I know for my program specifically, I'm not exactly sure how things may be going in your program. Make sure you have a folder, because you're going to be receiving a lot of papers. And when you do hand them in, your professor does give some back. But like, for instance, one of the papers that she gives us back would be the care plan for that week, but she will keep the anecdotal. So I do get a lot of papers back, so I just make sure I have my own separate clinical folder. That way, just in case the professor is missing something from me, or she needs to see it again, I just pop it right back out and I give it to her. So that's definitely a big major. It may be something that a lot of people do, I don't want to say underestimate or look over, but it's something that's easily forgotten because you just think that you have to focus on other things. But don't forget to also focus on the basics. Like, you have your pen and paper, you have pencils if that's what you write with. Make sure you have your folder. Make sure you have water to drink because you're going to be there for so long. Like, the little things, just make sure you have it. And also, lastly, no, this is really lastly. I know I said lastly last time. Anyways, make sure you have a watch. I do use my Apple Watch. I know that some people say don't. Some people say get a nice cheap watch that you could get at like Walmart or whatever. But here's the story about that. Okay, let's talk about it. So they tell you don't get an expensive watch for clinical, right? right? Okay, so I did that first semester. Went to Walmart, doop, 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 got my little $10 watch, plopped that bad boy on. And the thing that I forgot is I have eczema. So that thing broke me out. And I still do have like a scar right here that shows it. Like, you can't, I mean, obviously, if you don't have sensitive skin like I do, go ahead, feel free to go get a $10 watch. But I just use my Apple Watch. And I'm very careful about it. I do sanitize it because I don't want to carry any of the germs and bacteria back home with me, because that's a watch that I do wear every day. But make sure you do have some kind of watch. You're just going to need your watch. So make sure you have one. Now, this may not actually be a physical thing, but just to tie it all together, make sure that you are showing up to clinical very refreshed, mentally prepared, because you never know. Honestly, the things that I've experienced at the hospital while I was on the floor, you can't really, like, you don't know what you're going to get into. So just make sure you're very sharp, alert, make sure you've rested. I know it's hard sometimes, especially for me. Like, I do work full time and I get off of work at like 4:30 and I start clinical at 5. You know me, I'm changing in the car, I'm doing all of those things. So it is a little bit exhausting, but I try my best to make sure that I arrive with a positive attitude, positive mindset, all of those things, and I'm just ready to take on the next 6 or so hours. That's very important because of the simple fact that clinical can be overwhelming, from having a bad nurse to just having some weird patient experience, or to just like being overwhelmed with everything that you have to do. It is a lot. So that's why I'm saying it's best if you do show up ready to work and you're prepared. You have all the things that I already talked about, but just make sure that you have a positive attitude, because it just makes the day go by faster. And also make sure that you've eaten before clinical, because child, everybody knows you're not you when you're hungry. Shout out to Snickers said that, or was it Twix? Whoever said that, it's facts. Don't be showing up. If you have clinical at 5 o'clock and you haven't eaten since 11:29, sis, please go get a damn snack from the cafe. Like, make sure that you're on your P's and Q's. Is that what you guys call it? P's and Q's? Make sure you're on your toes. Make sure you're on your A game. That's all I'm gonna say, okay? So thank you so much for joining me on this video. I hope that you guys really did enjoy it. Again, drop down below the things that you put in your clinical bag, because there may be some things that I'm missing. Again, I don't know everything. I'm a student, as well as you're probably a student as well watching this video. So we're all learning together. This is just one big learning, happy, fun ecosystem. So let me know the things that you guys put in your clinical bag, your must-haves. Let me know some tips and tricks that make clinical easier for you. And I will see you guys in the next video. Oh my God, my contact is trying to kill me. Can you see how the devil works?